So I just wanted to make a quick video on making main closing loops. I haven't actually seen one that's worth a damn, and wanted to go over the materials you need, how quickly you can make one of these. Some folks say they last anywhere from 30 to 40 jumps. If you see any kind of wear in your main closing loop, again, this is one of those things that you should always be checking on every pack job. A little closing loop like this that goes for $1 can really fuck up your day if you're not keeping an eye on it. So what you need is a fit. We're going to use this to finger trap the loop. You can also use a sewing needle. I typically use a sewing needle when I'm using a cypress loop and making a reserve closing loop, but I'm going to use the fit here. I'm going to use the type A sheathing. You can buy this from Paragear. This sheathing has no thread. Well, it has some, not a whole lot on the inside. Make sure you're using type 2A sheath for the closing loop. I'm using a ruler here that I'm going to be pulling out and measuring the length, and I'll get into the length and how long you should make the closing loops here in a bit. Nice pair of scissors and a Sharpie. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sheath and I am going to pull it and get myself around 20 to 22 inches. And so what we'll do is we'll take a nice pair of scissors here, cut that right around the 20-inch mark. Try to make a diagonal cut on this. It comes out a lot nicer than cutting right across. You won't get those frayed edges. Put that on here. And you take this 2A sheath and we're going to fold it over. So fold it over and then take your Sharpie. I like these Sharpies that have the fine tip on them. And we're going to mark, not down the middle, but on the side closest to us. Offset it by, I don't know, say about ½ an inch. And what's nice about this 2A sheath is just how easy the fit goes into it. Now we're going to take the fit. You can purchase these at Paragear or Shooting Star. And we're not going to start at the opposite end like we would if we were going to be using some type of hand needle like we would on the cypress. We're going to start on the same side that we put our mark with our Sharpie, and we're going to feed it through. Like such. And we're going to come out the end right at the point where we made our mark with the Sharpie. And we're going to take this other end that we haven't used yet, and we're going to put it through the top of the fit. Now, I like to actually square this up because the last thing I want on the end of my loop is a twist. So I want to hold it kind of like such, grab the opposite end, just kind of pull it through, get it started. And make sure that when it goes in, it's straight. Right straight. There's no twists or anything like that. All right, here we are coming out the other end. Now, how long should we make the end of the loop? How wide should we make it? Well, the old rule of thumb is you're going to be using a pull-up cord or a power tool, so you want to make it about the width of a pull-up cord. So what is that? 0 marks here. That's about a ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch. I typically like to go 3/4 of an inch. And don't worry about this sliding in and out because under tension, this won't tighten anymore and it'll be set. So UPT recommends on their older main packing trays that you do 1 inch and 5/8. So let's mark that out. I'm actually going to use this one. I like this ruler better for that. And we're not running this through a washer like we would on a reserve closing loop, so we'll just mark right 1 inch and 5/8. And you really can't, this type 2A sheath, you really can't do any kind of stretching on this. I guess you can to a certain extent, but it's not like the cypress loop where it actually, you know, you lose about 3/8 of an inch once you stretch it out. Excuse me, you gain about 3/8 of an inch once you stretch it out. Here, it's kind of like what you get pre-stretched is kind of the way it is. So let's mark this right at 1 5/8 of an inch. one. There's our 5/8 of an inch mark. Now, some people just do one granny knot on this, and well, that's not good for me, enough for me. I like to be able to kind of, you know, the easiest way I can remember this is to tie the knot the same way I would do it as if I was doing a cypress knot on a reserve. So I just go under twice like this, and then what I'll do is I'll slide it up. This may take a minute. Good thing about half those surgeon's knots are is you can slide the knot. So we'll get right there. Right there. We're not quite through yet. We're close. Right. Then I'll go back and do a granny knot right at the end, just like we would if we were doing a cypress. And then I'll pull that when we want to make that granny knot underneath our surgeon's knot. So I'll run that right up against it. And there ain't no way this shit's coming out. Again, the length of the loop, if you look at the vector manual, it's going to be determined based on the size of the canopy you're jumping. So again, this 1 5/8 of an inch, this is what they're recommended. I believe it was pre-2006, maybe it was even 2011, I don't know. But this is the 1 5/8, and there ain't no way it's coming out. Now, ideally, I would actually just put this in the container as such. You know, I wouldn't trim any of this on the end, just kind of, you know, S-fold it, put it right underneath. You definitely want to make sure before you put this in your container, you put a washer on there. And you can get these washers at Paragear, or you can just go to Home Depot and buy them as well too. Like the tips, it makes it a bit easier to put in there. And there you have it. There's the closing loop right there. Now what you can do is you can come back and you can hold this off. You can save yourself, maybe you want to keep this and make 2 inches, 2-inch loop. So we'll just maybe cut right here. And then if we wanted to, we'd actually just melt this off. This type 2A sheathing does a real nice job of cauterizing here at the edges. That shit ain't going anywhere. Nice. There you have it, folks. A main closing loop, just like that.